these meetings are very informative for us, very helpful, and one of the takeaways that I'm hoping, and I again want to thank Dwayne for sort of coming up with some guidance to council to sort of give us indications on the priorities and the milestones and things like that. That sort of helps orient us as leadership to do, know what we need to do in order to meet those commitments. So really looking forward to the dialogues that sort of come from this meeting here.
I just want to say that it's really exciting to have our partners and our friends back at the table because, like I said, it's been a long time coming, and it's really exciting to see that one time ago we just talked about it, we didn't know we would ever get here, and we're finally here.
So to drive the highway, you wouldn't know where it would be right now. It's just a long straight section of highway. This plan shows with a little more clarity. Our community sits in this area. This is Trunk 4, Afton Road, that comes up here. This being Highway 104. The eastbound off-ramp and on-ramp, westbound off-ramp and on-ramp. The structure, 2 intersections for the ramps are modern roundabouts, and north connector that goes to Trunk 4, south connector that goes across to Afton Road, providing access to both reserve pieces and the non-reserve land that's been acquired. So at this location would be the highway, the interchange structure. So it's a structure that would pass over the existing highway. What we're doing with the design and construction is not only spanning the existing 2 lanes of highway that's there now, but we're also going to be spanning the location of the future twinning. So in the short term, when that bridge is built, you'll drive under the bridge, but on the north side, will just be this large grassy vegetated area. So we have another structural location, we call it the Lower Afton River Crossing, and on the south connector, we have another bridge that crosses the Afton River. There is an existing 3-cell concrete box culvert under the existing Highway 104, and that has to get lengthened out on both ends to accommodate the construction of the on and off ramps. And Afton Road, which comes down right now to intersect Trunk 4, will get realigned into a new intersection on the connector road. We're also doing some improvements to Trunk 4. This is the Trunk 4 intersection we were just talking about. Afton Road comes down and intersects here, where the picture's taken from is on that little bridge.
Yeah.
So it's through this curve that's going to get adjusted and flattened to make it a safer approach to the intersection.
The timing of that, that flattening and
Yeah.
roughly.
Most likely it'll be 2015. So this is a cross section through the structure. So I took the bridge and split it with a knife and looked at it on end. And this is the multi-purpose trail. So we have a 3-meter wide trail, which is totally separated from the traffic that would pass across the bridge. There's also an opportunity here with the abutment, which is this area here. The opportunity's been presented to come up with some sort of artwork or mural. This is the view of the Afton River structure on the north connector. The width of the river is about, this kind of shows it here, it's about 11 meters wide.
Okay.
So we wanted to make sure we had enough to cover from bank to bank, and we were also very mindful of the swimming hole that's in that area.
Yeah.
That we were avoiding that. So from an archaeology perspective, early on, the archaeologist said this area toward Trunk 4 was an area for investigation. It was investigated, and nothing was discovered. With additional work on the south connector, there were some areas of concern that the archaeologists had identified, recommended going in and doing some test pits, and that was done. You do a 1 meter by 1 meter approximate pit, and they sift through it. So with that work, each of these locations identifies a point, and obviously number 1 is right in the roadway. And we looked at this. Typically we would, if we had an archaeological find, we'd move the road to avoid it, but there's really nowhere to move it. Paqtnkek 1, which is the Simon property, and And this is the area here, which is taped off. It's about an $80,000 exercise. We have funding committed for that, and we're ready to go. We wanted to get the okay from Chief and Council that we do that work. There's accommodations for community members to participate within as well on that project. So on the design update, the 4 structures, they range between 60% and 100% complete. The interchange structure itself is ready to go for tender. The roads are about 80% complete. The 2 roundabouts are early in design, but they're being actively moved along right now. We have land requirements for the interchange and the connector roads, but we also have, again, thinking of the future twinning, there's land requirements from Paqtnkek lands back at Heatherton with the right-of-way plans, with the compensation package, and with the surrender. It's not only for the project that's to be built over the next few years, but it's also for that future twinning. So this shows the area in Heatherton with the Trans-Canada Highway, Paqtnkek land that basically forms the tree line here. And there are land requirements on both sides for, on the north side, particularly for the future twinning. The successful vote is critical for construction to start. There's an information package that Una had detailed multiple components that need to go into that information package that needs to be in place and delivered to the community for the vote, which is a requirement under the surrender process. So that's where our critical time frame is right now. So what's in the current plan for 2014 is it has been the complete construction of the interchange. For 2015 would be construction of south connector structure or whatever structures weren't started in 2014. All the interchange ramp and roadway earthwork, so all the earth moving and shaping up would be 2015 as well. And then 2016 would be paving and ready to open to traffic. There's 2 processes going on here. Number 1 is land that's required. There's band reserve land that's required, which is under the umbrella of the Indian Act. There's also other lands that the band has purchased and is holding fee simple. So the purple are the ones held as fee simple in trust for the band. Those are pretty easy. That would be our typical acquisition process. What's complicated is the designated reserve lands, which are orange. So those are the ones that are specific to the surrender process. From the project's perspective, both of them are required. Even though we have $3 million in the upcoming construction season to build the bridge, and it is all within either department right-of-way or the fee simple holdings of the band. We don't want to go out there and start building a bridge when we haven't given the community the opportunity to decide if there is support for the project or not. We all feel quite confidently that the support's there, but you don't want a community member looking out and seeing a bridge getting built when they haven't had their say.
Does there have to be a percentage of the community that actually votes?
Yeah, that's what we mean by called a double majority or absolute majority.
Okay.
At least 50% of the community has to show up to vote, and at least half of the people that show up have to support it. If that initial vote is positive in the sense that the people that did show up endorsed it, there was more than 50% of the people who showed up supported it, you just didn't get 50% out. In that circumstance, you could seek a second vote, and the second vote would be just a simple majority.
I know for some of you, this might be, I don't know how many times you did the presentation, but it's really instructive to me, educational, and helps orient our minds on this development and the need to really plan it out. We're going to have a community meeting every 4 months, so 3 a year. So our first community meeting is on April 15th. I know Rose had contemplated a more substantive meeting, which is a great idea. But just to get the ball rolling, maybe we can have because this is a priority issue. You know, I'm confident with, you know, the people in the room here and other people that, you know, we're gonna eventually get to talk to, that we're gonna, that this, you know, development opportunity is gonna be welcome within the community and really have a solid impact within the community for years to come.
This is not just a short 5-year project. This is going to be a project that's going to support the community for 7 generations ahead. This is something that we're laying down for the foundation for the future.
We're going to be engaging in the process of educating and informing community members on what the status of the project is, this project, and where we're going into the future. Part of that process will involve a community meeting that will take place on April 15th. So within that meeting would provide an opportunity for community members to come and share their views and perspectives on this project, to give us input and feedback on some of the areas we really need to go. So I really encourage community members and those of you to help spread the word and encourage our community members to attend and share any ideas they have, because this development is one of those developments that is key to the future of this community.
I mean, with the surrender too, it is a positive thing in the sense that it is in the members' hands. You're providing them the opportunity to provide consent to this project. If they don't provide consent, it doesn't happen.
And how we took it is with ourselves working on the land plans, also outlines, and Andy's gonna go through that presentation. It shows us that we are running on a serviceable land, and it shows us that the access, that was just not the north side development, it's the south side development. We also linked the mapping with that, showing the housing developments, the commercial development, so we're showing it, you know, this is what we have to give to get this, but this is what we have access to all through.
What's really important is for community members to share their thoughts, views, and perspectives. We're really looking forward to the community coming on April 15th.
It's really a big project, and I'm just so grateful that we have such a great team that's been committed to Paqtnkek for so many years. And you know, it's just, I'm just really, you know, proud of the leadership and, you know, the strides they made to see this project through, and the commitment that we all had working together. And I'm really looking forward to the next phase, and let's cut that ribbon.